What's up everybody, it is Dan Cam, and I am back with another video. And what I'm going to be showing you today, dudes, is why you need to be adding a little monitor like this into your setup. And then I'll also show you ways on how you can utilize a small monitor like this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it. All right, dude, so let's get into the monitor that I ended up picking up, and it is the Wimaxit M1050C, and this is version 2. And I've been using this monitor for probably about 2 to 3 weeks now, really putting it through its paces and setting it up in all different kinds of scenarios and situations. And those I will go over later in the video. But it's been awesome to use this monitor. The colors look fantastic. The picture's great. The size is absolutely perfect for what I need it for. And this is 10.5 inches in size. So let's go ahead and we'll go over all the specs for this bad boy, and I'll throw some B-roll footage up of this bad boy, maybe doing a little unboxing. And if you want to check out this monitor, I will have a link to it down in the description and probably in the pinned comment. So let's roll it over to the specs. All right guys, so like I said, this is a 10.5 inch portable monitor and it is full HD, and that's gonna be 1920 by 1280. It is an IPS panel. It's got an aspect ratio of 16:9. It's got a brightness of 450 nits. It's got a contrast ratio of 1500:1, and it is 100% sRGB. So the colors on it are gonna look absolutely amazing. It is backlit LED with an adjustable backlight. You can toggle on and off HDR mode. It's got a viewing angle of 85 degrees, so no matter which way you look at this screen, it's gonna look great. It's got 2 Type-C ports and 1 mini HDMI port, and it also has a 3.5mm audio jack, and all this weighs under 1 pound at exactly 0.72 pounds. Which makes it super portable, which is awesome. And I'll go ahead and throw the dimensions for it up on the screen. It has a huge compatibility list from consoles to laptops to Raspberry Pis to PCs to cell phones and everything in between. And in the upcoming segments, I'll show you how I like to use this thing. And I also want to note that this is not a touchscreen, but there are touchscreen models available from Wimaxit if that is what is desired. The monitor has dual speakers on it, and it also has controls on the side for adjusting the in-monitor settings. In the box, it's gonna come with a USB-C to USB-A cable, a USB-C to USB-C cable, a mini HDMI to standard HDMI cable, a wall power plug that has a Type-A port on it. It also comes with a foldable kickstand, which you saw in the intro. It has a microfiber cloth that comes with it, a support contacts card, and also the user's manual, which I would highly recommend taking a look at because it shows ideal connectivity depending on how you are using it. And guys, in most cases, a singular Type-C cable is enough to power this monitor. So if you're on the move and you're connecting it to a laptop, you don't have to bring a bunch of cables or worry about having an outlet. You can just plug the USB Type-C cable into your laptop or whatever it may be, if it is sufficient enough to power it. That's why I was saying check out the user's manual, because in most cases you can use just one USB Type-C cable to fully power this thing, how I am doing right now. And like I said, guys, if you want to check this out, the link's gonna be in the description, and that link helps to support the channel. But guys, on that note, let's go ahead and jump into how I like to use this portable monitor. Okay guys, so scenario 1 is gonna be if you're using a laptop. So whether that's traveling or it's your main rig at home, it's so clutch to have a nice little small monitor like this. And as you can see, it's powered with just that singular USB Type-C cable. So I don't have to rely on an outlet or have to have a power brick with me at all times. I can just bring my laptop and the monitor, and then I'll be able to power the entire setup. So this laptop was actually sent to me by HP, and it's an Omen 16, and I'm gonna be reviewing this pretty soon. So I'm putting this thing through its paces. So I wanna be able to monitor temperatures and FPS and all other vitals. So rather than having to alt tab, out of the laptop, I have my second little display and I can have, HW info up there or any other program that monitors vitals, or even like something like OBS. So super clutch to have this second monitor with a laptop, especially if you're traveling. It's just less items to bring, especially when you can power it with just one cable. So super clutch. All right guys, so let's move on to scenario 2. So for this scenario, we're gonna talk about consoles and specifically the Nintendo Switch. Right now, I've got Breath of the Wild hooked up to the monitor, and you can see it looks absolutely amazing. Breath of the Wild is such a beautiful game. We got some reflections going on, so sorry about that. But the way this is hooked up is completely to the Nintendo dock, and we've got a mini HDMI and a USB Type-C, and then those are both plugged in back here. And if you're not familiar with a Nintendo Switch dock, we've got the HDMI on the bottom, and that is sending the video signal to the monitor. We've got the middle USB Type-A, and that is powering the monitor. And then we've got the USB Type-C up top, and that is what is powering the Nintendo Switch dock. And as you can see, there is only one thing plugged in down there, and that is the dock. So I can completely power this monitor and this setup with one plug. So if you're traveling with family or whatever you may be doing and you're not at home, you can take this setup and it's super easy. And like right now I'm using the controller, which obviously you don't have to. You can take off the Joy-Cons and use that. So it makes it even more portable. So super awesome for consoles, and I have confirmed that it works with PS4, so I assume it works with Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I do not own an Xbox Series X, but I do have a PS5, and then probably sometime during the editing process, I'll go ahead and figure out whether this works for a PS5 or not. And I'm getting absolutely destroyed by someone right now. But super awesome for consoles, guys. I would highly recommend it. But let's go ahead and move on to the next scenario. So the next way you can hook up this monitor to something is with a smartphone. And the monitor right now is being powered by this Type-C cable. And that Type-C cable is plugged into the wall adapter, and that's plugged into an outlet. So you do need an outlet in order to power it this way. And then I have the mini HDMI going into this adapter, and I use an iPhone. I do not have an Android. I'm not going to be able to show you that way, but they do make this adapter that is HDMI to Lightning. But after reading the owner's manual, it does seem like hooking up an Android phone is much easier. It looks like you just need a Type-C cable, and it does show a list of compatible phones, and I'll go ahead and throw a picture up of how you'd hook it up with an Android phone. It's much easier, and you don't need that adapter. But as you can see, it's just completely mirroring what is on my screen. So if I tap right here, you can see little homies moving. And this is a game called Samorost. It's a really cool little puzzle game, and the visuals in it are absolutely amazing. Really cool soundtrack as well. So you can use this to show what's on your phone to someone else, or especially for people that use like controllers for like COD Mobile. I can see people like that using something like this. You just have to find a way to hook that up with the controller to the monitor. But super clutch if you want a little bit bigger of a monitor to display what is on your smartphone. All right guys, so let's move on to the last and my favorite method of using this portable monitor. Okay guys, so my favorite way to use this monitor is actually one of two ways, and that is basically hooked up to your desktop PC in more of a permanent solution. It's kind of similar to the laptop, but it's a little bit different. So as you can see, I have two main monitors, my right one, which I am using right now to spectate some Rocket League private match games. And then I have my left one, which I use for like OBS, Discord, Google Chrome, and everything in between. And then I'm using my portable monitor for AIDA64. And AIDA64 is a program where you can make sensor panels like this, and they display all of your PC's information. So you can see The game's running at 144 FPS, which I have it capped at because my monitors are 144 Hertz. You can see my CPU stats, temperature and everything else, GPU, how much memory I'm using, pump speed for my AIO, radiator fan speed, and all that good stuff. So I love this, so I can see all of my vitals pretty much at all times. I like to try a bunch of new games and like to see how my system's performing. And the way it is hooked up is I have the top cable right here is USB Type-C, and that is plugged into a USB Type-A header on my motherboard. So that is going to be for power. And then I have the bottom one, which is mini HDMI, and that is plugged into the HDMI port on my graphics card. So it's basically just serving as a third monitor, and all you have to do is go into your display settings for Windows and just set it all up, and it's super easy to do. And then if you want to check it out, I also made a full tutorial on how to make a sensor panel like this that I'll go ahead and link above and in the description. So guys, this is one of my favorite ways right here. I can always monitor everything that's going on with my system. You can throw your Twitch stream up on there as far as like maybe your like chat or your stats or anything like that. It's so clutch to have a nice little monitor like that on the side. So guys, let's get into the second way on how I like to utilize this monitor in a fashion that's similar to this. So my second favorite way on how I like to utilize this portable monitor is pretty much identical to what I just showed you, but in a different kind of situation. So it's plugged into my HP Omen the exact same way it was plugged into my main setup. We've got the Type-C out of the monitor to a Type-A on my motherboard, and then we've got the mini HDMI out going into an HDMI port that is on my graphics card. And how I like to use it in this situation is, if you guys are familiar with my channel at all, you know it's all about PC building and PC modifications and component reviews and basically everything in between. So I am constantly using this bench and modifying my Omen or building new PCs. So let's just say we take my HP Omen here, and this actually lives out in my living room. It's plugged into my main TV just in case I want to game out there or use it out there. So let's just say I'm even just cleaning it or doing some kind of modification. When I'm done with it, to verify that everything's okay, I would have to lug it all the way out to the living room, plug it into the TV, and then make sure it works. And then just in case I mess something up, I would have to bring it back in here, do whatever I'm doing, take it back out there. So rather than having to go back and forth, I've got this portable monitor, and then I can verify that anything I did to this PC is working fine. And it's the same with building new PCs. So let's just say I'm done with the build and I wanted to, make sure it boots properly first of all, and then go into the BIOS and do whatever kind of settings adjustments I can do. I can just bust out this portable monitor, make sure it boots properly, make sure everything's working okay before taking it over to my main setup and hooking it up to here, which can be kind of a pain. And then, like I said, if something is wrong or I screwed something up, I would have to unplug everything, bring it over to the bench. So this is great for doing any kind of testing on a bench, or if you're like fixing friends' PCs or building PCs a lot, it's absolutely clutch to have a little monitor like this to do all your testing on the bench. But guys, there are tons of different ways that you can use this monitor. I would highly recommend checking out the user's manual. And once again, if you want to check out the monitor I use, it is the Wimaxit M1050C, and then I'll go ahead and link it down in the description. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was informative. Please hit the like button if it was, and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.